1, 2, 3. This is Amari Purple Talk. Yes. Welcome to episode 81 of Amari Purple Talk, a podcast where I share my thoughts on the Prince musical singularity. I'm Richard Cole, your imagination funk soloist. Thank you once again for tuning in. Please leave your comments in the comment section below, and please download on your favorite podcast platform. If you're listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And please continue to send your questions or topic suggestions for Amari Purple Talk. And how you can do that is by clicking the link in the show notes below, either the website link for Amari Communications, or by following me on Twitter at RichardCole_now using the hashtag Amari Purple Talk. And your topic or question just might be read in a future episode. And with that out of the way, let's get started with the show. And we're going to start with our first topic of the day. And that is just a continuation of last week's topic of 3121. Thank you to everyone that participated in that episode. I had a lot of fun putting that one together. Again, that was sort of the goal of this podcast when I first started. So thanks everyone for participating. And again, please continue to send your thoughts and opinions and topic suggestions, and we'll get to do more of that in future episodes. Of course, the official release date of 3121 was actually March 21st of 2006. The 21st of March this year will fall on a Sunday. So what I will do is we'll do another special 3121 celebration. Actually, we'll have that episode drop on Sunday. So I might just record it a little bit earlier in the week and just have it ready for Sunday to drop. So again, if you didn't get a chance to submit any thoughts, memories, or just want to express what your favorite track was on that album, you'll have another chance to do so. So that's about two more weeks. We will do that. So mark your calendars, March 21st. That episode of Amari Purple Talk will drop on Sunday instead of Monday. So again, check in the show notes for all the various social media links or for my website, and definitely drop that information and I will read your comment, memory, or your favorite track on that episode. And now let's move on to our next topic. And this topic stems from something that quite a few people have noticed that's popped up on their favorite streaming service. And that is the single for Vanity 6's Nasty Girl. And so I checked it out. I went on Apple Music, and I do see that it is up as a single. It does have the copyright for Warner Records. But I want to stress that there's been no official word either from Warner Brothers or the Prince estate in regards to anything being reissued by Vanity 6. I actually went on the Warner Brothers website and also went on Rhino Records website and couldn't find anything listed for Vanity 6. Besides the Purple Rain Deluxe, Originals, and the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe, as far as the Rhino website. In addition to that, the only other Prince-related item was the vinyl release of Ice Cream Castles with the Neapolitan colored vinyl. But I did not find any listings for any Vanity 6 reissues, either as digital or any physical media release. What I did find fascinating in a sort of an unrelated topic is the number of items that Rhino Records is going to release that are digital only. There are a few things that are on vinyl. A lot of Curtis Mayfield. As far as Prince-related materials, the recent release of the Glamorous Life album by Sheila E. with the sort of turquoise vinyl. If you remember a few episodes prior on Amari Purple Talk, discussed the possibility of albums being released only on digital. Maybe, say, Prince albums that are getting super deluxe treatments, that will still get a vinyl release or a CD release. But will there come a time when standalone albums will only be released digitally? Also in that episode, I discussed the Jacksons. Their first three Epic Records albums have been released digital only. I've got the reviews for the first two. I've actually recorded the review for Destiny, but that will post on YouTube somewhere down the line. So please like and subscribe the Amari Communications YouTube channel and hit that notification bell, and you'll know when that review will be posted. But getting back to Vanity 6, again, it's just the single for Nasty Girl. It's digital only. And as far as Apple Music, as far as that listing, does have the copyright from Warner Records. But I'm going to stress caution and take anything with a grain of salt. If you're just listening to it, if you have the monthly subscription and you just listen to the track, that's fine. But I'm going to stress with caution, if you're interested in purchasing the single, to make sure that this is an official release that's been authorized by Warner Brothers Records and or the Prince estate for allowing them to utilize the songs that Prince wrote and produced and of course played on with the Vanity 6 single or album, should that drop somewhere down the line. Because once upon a time back in 2017, there was a mass release on all the digital platforms of the Vanity 6 album, both Madhouse 8 and 16, and The Family. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Mavis Staples' The Voice, that also dropped. I'm not sure if Time Waits for No One ever dropped too. I missed out on that if it did. But not knowing anything, I did purchase the Vanity 6, both the Madhouse and The Family. Turns out that those were pirate releases. So I remember purchasing those on Apple Music. But because I purchased it and it's downloaded, it is now officially part of my Apple Music library. But as far as the albums being available for purchase. They have been taken down. I think within weeks of their debut on that platform, as well as some of the other services like Spotify and Tidal. They've been taken off of those as well. So again, if you have a monthly subscription and you just listen to the tracks, that's fine. If you want to hear it, if you've never heard it before, that's fine. Check it out, give it a listen. But again, before you spend a penny on any download, again, make sure, or at least wait until we get an official word from the Prince Estate, or from Warner Brothers Records, or from Rhino Records, or Sony Records, or whoever. Make sure that there's official word and that this is something that's going to be released soon. Yeah, I've even tried to compare the sound quality of this recently released single versus the sort of the download that I purchased in 2017. I don't notice any distinguishable differences as far as the mix, if it's a remaster or even an amateur remix or remaster. It's kind of hard to tell. Doesn't sound like anything has been officially remastered. So I'm not going to download this single. Like I said, I'll wait until there's an official release of it. And plus, I would prefer to have the physical media, the CD, the vinyl. I used to have the vinyl. That is missing in action, along with maybe half of my record collection, in vinyl terms anyway. And just over the last 5 or 6 years, I've managed to kind of recover about 80% of the half of my vinyl collection that disappeared. So that Vanity 6 album was definitely one of the ones that were missing, and that's one I would like to have back. So it would be great to have that reissued in the original vinyl. A good remaster might work, especially, or mix it or master it for 180 gram vinyl for availability. A good remastered CD or just a better quality CD would come in handy with some good liner notes. So again, like I said, just kind of wait for the official word. If you want to hear the Vanity 6 album, if there's a brick and mortar record store in your town, especially as things are slowly starting to open up, or things are still in limited capacity, but you want to support local business, by all means, see if they have an original pressing of that Vanity 6 album and just get it from there. Or if there's a used CD that, somebody's not charging you $1 million for, just go ahead and purchase that for now. But I would like to have an expanded version of the Vanity 6 CD. Kind of similar to what the Jacksons have done with those first 3 Epic albums. But I would, again, with those are digital only. But as far as like having a CD of the Vanity 6 album, that I would like to have with the original album. Then there are the 12-inch remixes. Let's see, there's one of Makeup. There's one of Drive Me Wild. That is my favorite of that entire Vanity 6 project. That's not Nasty Girl and If a Girl Answers, Don't Hang Up. And maybe just bundle that with some of the unreleased Vanity material. There's a version of Sex Shooter. I think there's a version of Manic Monday, if I'm not mistaken. But there's tracks like Vibrator as well. Give me those tracks as part of an expanded edition. And I mean, if you want to go 3 CDs, then have that 3rd CD be a live concert, one of the best versions from the Triple Threat tour. do it that way. But if not, you can skip the live CD. Give me an expanded version with, like I said, just kind of the 12-inch remixes from the original album, some vault stuff, 2 or 3 of the vault songs, whatever you can include, and I'd be happy with just that single standalone CD of that. There have been some hints from recent interviews with Michael Howe regarding some of that. We even talked about that in an episode of Amari Purple Talk. The possibility of getting some Vanity 6 releases, getting some of the Time releases. I personally kind of doubt that it would be this year. But again, who knows? If you can do a standalone single expanded edition CD, I think, it can be reasonably priced. We can kind of fit that into our busy, Prince economic schedule there. Box set, standalone Prince album, what else? Crystal Ball. Let's see. Dwayne Tudor's book, 2 or 3 other Prince books. Somewhere in the middle there, we can probably squeeze in a few purple ducats for Vanity 6 expanded edition CD. So if anybody has the ear of the estate, or the ear of Warner Brothers, or the ear of Sony, then, drop that little hint that is something that we do want to hear. So let's get that sooner than later. All right, and so we're going to end that topic, and we're going to move right along to our main topic, which is, will the Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe Edition, will that release be influenced by the inclusion of Gett Off in the Coming to America soundtrack? Well, we don't know that answer officially, but while we're waiting for an official word if Diamonds and Pearls will be released as a Super Deluxe Edition, along with a lot of the other rumored items to come out in 2021, one possible clue that could hint at the fact that we could get a Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe Edition this year is the inclusion of the song Gett Off that was featured in the movie Coming to America, or Coming to America 2, or Coming to America, which is on Amazon Prime. And I got to watch that on Friday. And if you haven't seen it, by all means, check it out. This isn't a spoiler, but if you are a Prince fan, it is a bit of a spoiler. So I recommend, if you don't really want to know anything about the film, hit pause or shut off the show. Go watch Coming to America 2, or Coming to America. Watch it, then come back and join this podcast. So I'm going to go into spoiler territory right about now. All right, so first off, I like to say I did enjoy the film. I know the reactions are somewhat divided with the film, but I mean, it's Coming to America 2. I know they didn't originally want to do a sequel, but there's so much love and nostalgia for that film that they decided to put one together. And I know initially when I kept hearing about what the plot was going to be, I didn't think it was going to work. But I will say that they did put some thought into the film. I did enjoy the film overall. There's a couple of little things to me that could have made the film much better, or could have elevated it to the level of the first film. But again, given we're in the middle still of a pandemic, we don't have the luxury to physically go to a theater in a lot of places. And a lot of us don't necessarily have the desire to go to a movie theater with this climate, even though there are more vaccinations. The numbers appear to be going down, but we're not all out of the woods yet. So I will say what we did get, it was entertaining. I laughed. To me, there were elements of the film that, again, like I said, going into it, before I saw the trailers, I wasn't quite sold on the idea. Like, I don't think this is going to work. But once I saw the trailers, then I'm like, okay, well, there's enough in it that says, yeah, I'm going to go check this out. You were brought back to familiar territory. You got to see all the main characters back, or a lot of key characters return to this film. And it was great to see everyone, as much as possible, be reunited for this film. And it did pull off the story. Like I said, there's a few things I think they could have spent more time with. But all of that to say, the sort of homage to the sort of, I don't know how you put it, the wedding announcement ceremony. In this particular case, they utilized Prince's Gett Off, but they didn't use the original recording. They used the characters within the film to do the performing of the song. You had Oha in there, but I think he was lip singing to someone else. In fact, let me pull up the soundtrack here. Yeah, but anyway, you kind of had Oha doing the singing initially, kind of as a homage to the whole "She's Your Queen" bit in the first film. But the singing here, I'm going to assume, was done by Brandon Rogers. But as far as the character of Lavelle, which was played by Jermaine Fowler, and Princess Ezee, who was played by Tiana Taylor, those were their voices in the song that was featured in the film. And I enjoyed it. I got a real big kick out of that scene. I mean, you even had Lavelle, kind of the royal garb he was wearing. It was kind of a cross between sort of Prince in the Sexy MF video and Prince in some of the photos from the Rave into the Joy Fantastic era. The one, I think, where he's kind of reading the Bible on the couch, sort of that royal, and it wasn't quite a robe, but kind of like a royal garb kind of a thing, real royalty, the black and the gold. And then you had sort of the choreographed dancing with Tiana Taylor and some of the background dancers. Again, kind of a throwback to the choreographed scene in the first film. And what's very interesting, which I really didn't pick up on until today as I was preparing for the show. Of course, yeah, Eddie Murphy, Prince, they knew each other. They were friends. And of course, Arsenio, you had especially in 91, and I think 92 also, 91, where you had not only Prince on the Arsenio Hall show, but remember the year that Arsenio hosted the MTV Awards and Prince performed Gett Off on that episode. So, I mean, just that symmetry is there. And could it still be just symmetry or coincidence? Or could this just be a hint that if you reintroduce sort of the mainstream to that song, having it be in a big film like that, and then later you drop the Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe Edition, again, is it symmetry? Is it clever marketing, or branding? Because I think we're now more conscious of that these days, where song placement in movies and TV or even commercials, it's more like product placement in films and commercials too. So I'm kind of wondering if it's a case of that, or the giving permission to include that song in the film. Did that give Michael Howe the idea? Did it give the estate the idea, or Warner Brothers or whoever the idea to say, hey, that should be the next Super Deluxe edition? And, there are people within the Prince musical singularity that would rather have something like Parade be the next Super Deluxe. Maybe sort of the Gold Experience era, have a Super Deluxe be the next one. Or Love Sexy, or, anything but Diamonds and Pearls. And I don't know. The more I think about it, again, I wouldn't be disappointed if it was the next one. Again, because they would have my purple ducats. And there are a few vault items on that I would love to have be a part of that, and would inspire me to get that, or be more excited about having that particular project. But also, just hearing that in the film, it made me remember just how badass of a song that was. And that was sort of a last minute decision. If to use a football analogy, basically Gett Off is the fourth down passing situation in the recording of that album. Because to me, it's, how can I put it? It really stands apart from the rest of the album to me. And just listening to it while I was prepping for the show, I mean, it's a pretty good, solid album. Probably not what we expected of a Prince album, really, but I've always defended it on the level of, this is Prince showing you he can be as mainstream and commercial and still look cool doing it. Even with some of the hip hop elements that are in it, to me, they didn't, I don't know, it took a little getting used to, because we were used to Prince just being in a class by himself, and more so always being far to the left, as opposed to, oh, this is the hot hip thing that's now, let me try to do that and let me see if I can do it better, instead of being influenced by it and then sort of putting your own stamp on it. I think that did come later, but to me, it wasn't as, I don't know, distracting as I would say the Symbol album was. But then again, that was Prince being Prince, trying to go far to the left. But again, with Diamonds and Pearls, it was just like, well, the unexpected feature of this is that Prince is going mainstream and commercial. So that was the surprised element of that album. In that particular case, it did work. And I did enjoy playing that album quite a bit when it was out. But the minute it started to kind of wind down, I was definitely ready for the next Prince album. And that was the beauty of it, more so for then. Not to say that that changed or went away, but I think because of the sort of battles with the record company and then certain other changes, it was like, yeah, we were still excited for Prince album, but it really wasn't necessarily about what was he going to do next, for at least for a number of years anyway. But it was more so, we know regardless of how good or how bad, you're always going to get a few good songs out of it, or a few great songs out of it. And that sort of became the appeal, more so than exactly what was going to happen next. Because, before then, everything was a surprise. You had controversy, but you didn't know what was coming next. And 1999 comes out, and it's like, whoa, that's different and better than the first, than Controversy. Then you get Purple Rain, and then that went in another direction. Around the World in a Day went in another direction. Then, Parade, then Sign of the Times. So everything was an event. And maybe after Love Sexy, it kind of started to die down a bit. But here came, there's Batman. And then there was Graffiti Bridge. And then after Graffiti Bridge, it was like, well, what's next? Because you didn't have the weight of a motion picture the way that Graffiti Bridge had that film's weight on its shoulders, instead of it just standing alone as a standalone album. And to me, I think it would have been a great album had it not had the weight of the film on its shoulders. But with Diamonds and Pearls, you just didn't know what to expect. You was like, we kind of knew he was working on another album. And then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, here comes Gett Off, which again was a last minute decision. And it worked. It really worked. But I think if there were more experimental elements, but then again, who knows? Maybe it might not have sold as much. Or maybe if he went far enough to the left, who knows? But it's still an enjoyable album to listen to. And, I used to have a bootleg of some of the outtakes from that. Definitely Schoolyard. That's probably one of the most popular ones, if you're going to include on the Vault Tracks version. But the bootleg I had, it had Something Funky, This House Comes, and Rock to the FLOW, or The Flow. That its original version. I was disappointed with the version that was released on that Symbol album, big time. But I love the original version of that. I can't remember what other tracks that were on it that were recorded about that time, but I don't know. I look at it like this. While it's not everyone's choice for the next Super Deluxe edition, to me, for the sake of variety, I think it is the most logical decision to come out with Diamonds and Pearls as the next Super Deluxe edition. Because, if you're Warner Brothers, again, you have the film rights, which in terms of the contract means they have retained the rights to the soundtrack albums. Then yeah, it would make sense to kind of sit on Parade for a while. Because again, you have Parade, and there's not a lot you could do with Batman. there's really not a lot you could do with Graffiti Bridge, although we did talk about that in another episode. There is something you can do with Graffiti Bridge. You could do more with Graffiti Bridge than you can with Batman. In fact, the two are almost interchangeable, because a lot of those tracks were intended possibly for, well, long story short, you would come out better with the Graffiti Bridge Super Deluxe than you would a Batman Super Deluxe. Bottom line. Only thing you could do with Batman is if they do like a 40th or 50th anniversary release of the film, then you would bundle just the original soundtrack with, you know, whatever packaging with the movie, you know, big 4K deluxe box, Blu-ray or something like that. But and then just kind of remaster it where you can play the soundtrack on the 5.1 surround or the Dolby Atmos or whatever speaker system you have on your home entertainment system. And with so many Prince albums, you know, are you really going to be mad if the next one is Diamonds and Pearls? You know, again, I wouldn't be. Like I said, I would have loved to have Parade, you know, sort of, it is that sort of 1, 2, 3 punch, 1999, Sign of the Times, then Parade. That would have been nice. But again, you know, there's so many enjoyable albums in Prince's career. And while this isn't an 80s classic, you know, it's like the early stages of the 90s. You know, again, it worked on a mainstream level. You know, it was one of his biggest successes in a while. You know, where Batman kind of brought him back sales-wise. Maybe Graffiti Bridge didn't do as well, but Diamonds and Pearls, you know, it put him right back up there and set the stage for him getting that $100 million contract, well, which we know wasn't all that great of a thing, but it was the momentum of Diamonds and Pearls that allowed Warner Brothers to see, well, okay, looking at his 80s track record, and here he's still capable of generating sales, then maybe he could have played the game. But like I said, it still paved the way for him fighting for his independence and then giving us more great music, to which, again, there's more, I guess, more deserving Super Deluxe editions. But I would say that because of the use of that song in the Coming to America film, that it did boost my excitement for a Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe edition. Not by a whole lot, but just a little bit more. And again, going back to listening to the album, Gett Off is the definite, it's a standout. It's a standout track and a very great choice for the first single from that album. Even though I think like Cream became more of the top 10 hit or top 5 hit. I think it even went number 1, if I'm not mistaken. But you know, if the film was the influence, then yeah, it's clever marketing. It's clever 21st century marketing. Because again, it's all about the branding, it's the placement. You know, it's got us talking about it, for one. It's got us thinking about, like, oh, is there going to be an announcement? When is the announcement? And of course, you know, when there is, regardless if it's Diamonds and Pearls or if it's even something else, you know, we're going to talk about it on this show. And a lot of the other Prince podcasts that are out there, they're going to talk about it as well. So, you know, kudos to whoever's in charge of marketing, whether that was a Michael Howe move or whoever's working with him that came up with the idea. I'm in. But what's most important is, what do you think? Not only about this topic, but hey, the Vanity 6. Do you think that is going to be an official release? Would you want a Vanity 6 reissue or an expanded edition reissue with the 12-inch singles or the remixes, vault tracks, Diamonds and Pearls? Did you enjoy Coming to America? Like I said, I enjoyed it. You know, it was a good little popcorn movie. I laughed. It was good seeing a lot of the characters back, or the original actors back in the roles. Again, a few things I would have tweaked, you know, to give the story more weight, because it did sell me on the plot of the story. And there were elements in it that, to me, it just wasn't for the sake of the jokes or anything like that. They just didn't patch something together. It does give the indication that they did sit down and think about what they wanted to do. Again, I probably would have spent a few more minutes with certain characters, but overall, I enjoyed it. It's fun. It's Coming to America. It wasn't, you know, we're not swinging for the Academy Awards here or anything like that. This was just like a kind of like a family reunion type thing almost. It was just good seeing a lot of those actors back. And again, I enjoyed the song. Did you guys enjoy the inclusion of Gett Off in Coming to America? Does it make you more excited for a Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe Edition? Leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts. And that is going to end this episode of Amari Purple Talk. Thank you for sharing your time by listening to this episode. You can continue your support for Amari Purple Talk by either purchasing Amari Communications merchandise with items that include Amari Purple Talk t-shirts, mugs, and masks, and We Funk t-shirts, or you can make a Cash App donation for any amount you wish. Links are in the show notes or in the button in the Amari Communications channel banner on YouTube. Till next week, be safe, be peaceful, be wild, keep it purple, and on the one.